How do I attract candidates? You'll do this in multiple different ways. So you'll be continuously connecting and outreaching, and your content on LinkedIn will provide you with conversations and a supply of candidates. Depending on your market, you might also do that on other platforms as well. Depending on, you've got to think about where your candidates are hanging out. LinkedIn is the obvious one, but depending on your niche and the sector, you might find lots of candidates in Facebook groups, for example. So that's another really good and a big strategy for nurturing relationships and building up candidate pools and building up your database of candidates. You'll also build data to be able to email candidates and obviously continuously build your database. And because you're a niche recruitment company, the data, as soon as it gets to a fair number, that's one of the first places that you will go, and it will save you from having to start the search process from the start each time, because you're continuously working and speaking to any candidates in your space, and so then they become on your database, and so it's not a standing start all the time. So you've constantly got candidates you can go back to that might not have been quite right for the last two requirements that you had in, but they're right for this third one that you've got, for example. And that just compounds over time as well. So then you'll have pools of candidates that are suitable for the jobs that are coming through, because any candidate sits within your niche. So it just means that nothing's all from scratch all the time. You might want to look at adverts online and using job boards as well, for especially when you start out, and you can often get free trials or discounted offers for new startup businesses through the job board. So I would recommend that you utilize those trials and then figure out which one you might want to invest in down the line, or just utilize the trials for now and then potentially look at it in the future. So there are a handful of ways, and basically the sweet spot or the point here is that you're tapping into all of these different ways and you're not just relying on one, because different people respond to communication differently. So some people might respond to a LinkedIn invite and message. Others might not see that, and so they might have seen some of your content, and so they want to just continue. They want to look at that, and then they might be interested in a free CV guide that you've got, and in exchange for that they might give you their email, and then you've got their email, so you can continuously give them value and support them that way, and then they might come into your world through that avenue. The point being that people respond differently to different forms of communication. And so you shouldn't sort of narrow yourself by only picking one or two. Facebook groups is another interesting one. Depends on your sector. I've seen huge benefits to this, and then also in some areas there's just, doesn't apply the same. But hanging out in groups, offering value, just genuinely giving help to people is a great way to find candidates that aren't active in the market as well. So hopefully that gives you a bit of a picture of where you need to get your candidates from.